Do this. Cold. All right. We're going to do 2025. I guess I'm going to sit right here. I got to put this thing in front. Oh, you're going to tape it? You guys are going to record it? Good. I need to. You guys can hear. You get it? You get it? All right. Shall we do this? What title did you take, Vi? He who humbles himself. Works. Okay, I got to bring up. Okay, let me bring this up. This is our website. Because some of the, I'm telling you guys, God was telling me the prophecies are coming to pass, and here we are. God is saying, go, and I had to go. Now look at this. The last thing on the website was 2022. What the hell, Pastor Shirley? I'm even 23, 24. We're going into 25. That's how far behind I am. Ugh. God help me. All right, here we go. I had stopped posting stuff on our website for prophecies at 2016. I stopped doing that because why did we stop? Oh, because he had me start writing down and recording stuff. Then I forgot to start. I forgot to write things down and record stuff. Anyway, are you folks ready? 2025. What is 2025 going to bring us? Amen. Number one, it's a wake up to reality. It's a wake up call. There's going to be an awakening. What does that mean? In the awakening, I got a word for that. I was given Romans for this one, for the bottom line to the prophecy. The underline of it is Romans chapter 13. 11 to 14 is about putting on Christ. I read this thing and I must have laughed because it was like so falling in line, God. But in Romans chapter 13, and this is the prophecy for 2025, yeah. He says from verse 11, he says, and do this, knowing the time, that now is high time to wake out of sleep. For now our salvation is nearer than when it first we believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Therefore let us cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk properly as in the day, not in revelry and drunkenness, not in the lewdness and lust, not in strife and envy, but put on the Lord Jesus Christ and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill its lust. There you go. Let's stop. That's the word I got for the prophecy. Okay. But prior to that, God was telling me 2025 is about awakening. Seeing truth. Yeah. Seeing truth about yourself, where you stand with your God, with Jesus Christ, in your truth. Pretty much. It's a wake-up call, right? It's a wake-up to reality. And there are things that came with it. So we have so many different things. But I'm going to try to narrow it down. And the first thing he wants to talk about is my dreams. In the past, from August, the August one is important. And the one I had a few weeks ago is important because they're all going down the same line. So as I read, I had to listen to it. I actually have it on my YouTube. About the dream I had. Where is it? On August 8th. I had it on August 8th. I don't think I put this one up. No, I put the other one up. But anyway, this one I had on August 8th. And I remember bringing it to you guys. It's a dream about the flying little flying ships, these little space dronies coming into the opening in the sky. Anyway, this is how the dream goes. In the dream, in this dream, for this one about the opening in the sky on August 8th, this is the second dream. This is the dream that I was standing at the end of a road. Okay, the road went this way. I was standing here, and right in front of me was a cul-de-sac, but it was kind of like this because I was higher than the cul-de-sac. So it's like the cul-de-sac was like this, but the houses was below. Because I could see past the houses, and I could see past. I could see past it all. Like I could see the ocean, the horizon. I could see past. So I was a little higher than the houses, and the houses were in a circle cul-de-sac. When I saw that, and I'm going to be interpreting along the way because I've been seeing things, God was telling me yesterday when I had gone through it with him, that we've come to the end of a road. Now the cycle begins. You see this cul-de-sac? This cul-de-sac is like the end of a cycle or your cycle. It's just going to be an ongoing thing. It's like we're coming to a place that we got to wake up and we got to see where we stand with God, because we cannot deceive ourselves any longer. How is that going to play out? In this, I'm watching, and there is this cul-de-sac down the road. And as I look, I'm looking at the sky. Like I said, it was a blue sky. I didn't say that yet, but it was a blue sky. It was clear and everything. All of a sudden, there were clouds. But then I noticed that the clouds started to dissipate. And as they started to dissipate, it started to show something beyond the clouds. It was as if the thing behind the clouds, it was as if the thing behind the clouds was like a man-made, or, it was something that was made that was beyond the clouds. But it was kind of like blinding us to what's beyond the clouds. Like all we could see was what was there. And that's our reality. We see the sky, we see the clouds, this is what we know. But what we don't know is what's beyond that, in a matter of speaking. So what happens in this dream is the clouds and the sky start dissipating, like they're dissolving. Yeah? Like it couldn't be held anymore. Like if we're looking at an image, and then like if you're looking at an image from a projector and the projector starts dying and it starts flickering and fading, it had that kind of like it's starting to fade and die out, because the thing that projects it is fading and dying out because the truth is being exposed. So when I look at the sky, when I'm looking at this and I see that, and I notice that it's kind of very patternish, like everything is interlocked with each other. As the sky fades, it reveals this thing in the back, like a hexagon kind of thing. And they look like they're all connected, like, it was honeycombs just pop into them. They have the hexagon thing, right? Like honeycomb. And they're all, but you don't see that until the sky part fades. When it fades, it reveals it. So this is a revealing of something greater or beyond what our own reality. That's the thing. This is what's coming. It's a wake up to reality, because the dream is saying we have become so comfortable. We made us complacent of a truth that we see. When we see the sky, we say the sky. But what if it's not the sky? Because our reality says we have based everything on what we know. So if we say the sky is blue, that's our reality. But what if the sky isn't blue? And what if, you see, so the reality is going to be questioned because change is coming, right? What happens is the sky starts disappearing. It starts dissolving, and I see a pattern behind it, as if it was the thing that was bringing the image of the sky. And this thing starts revealing itself as the sky fades. So something that was hidden is going to be revealed, because it's starting to show itself, whatever it may be. So it's starting to show itself. Yet we still hold on to that sky because we don't want to see what's behind it, but we're not going to have a choice. It's like we're going to be confronted with reality. And we're going to think our reality, it's not like the reality that we believe is going to be no more. You cannot do that. It's like it holds no truth anymore. And the reality is that there is something that is happening that we cannot comprehend and understand. Now, in this pattern I'm seeing in the sky, as it was projecting the sky, and the sky disappeared, and I saw this thing. It was across the sky. There was no end to it. But then I started to see these hexagon things open up like a door. It just opened. It didn't fade away in something. No, it just opened. And when it opened like a door, things flew in. I could see past when it opened. I could see, because the thing was humongous. When it opened up, I saw past it, and past it was the night sky or the universe or whatever. It was just dark past there like the sky. And I could see things flying around and floating in the background. All of a sudden, all these little black I don't know what to call them. They do look like drones, and they do look like ships. They do, but they're different because they look like insects at the same time, right? They have 4 legs, and they have a head like a mantis, and they have wings, like a cockroach, a body like a cockroach. It was like disgusting, but it was something that I was looking at, because it's like what is coming. It's like what is coming. Look at the insects. Look at the insects. They had legs like grasshoppers, a body like a cockroach, a head like a mantis, and the wings like a B-52 bomber cockroach. Okay? Because the body was a cockroach. These are all sneaky insects. These are all, it's the kind of like cockroaches, they in the dark always, you know what I'm saying? And yet, I don't know if you folks have this, but I do. B-52 bomber cockroaches, out of everybody in the room, going to attack me. Why? Why me? What is it about me that they're attracted to? Maybe the light, I don't know. But for some reason, they'll find me over everybody else. And they're silent, man. They just attack, you know? Anyway, so I was looking at this and I was like, holy heck, what is this? And those things was chasing everybody who was running. People were yelling, run, run. But I was about to do that, but something said, don't run. So I watched. I had to watch. So I stayed still. I stayed still and I watched people running, and these things went after them. They were shooting them from the from the sky. They were shooting at them. They were chasing them down. And I'm watching, and everything inside of me wanted to run. Like I wanted to turn and run, but I said no. And I just watched. Don't run. And then I woke up. And then I woke up. That was one of the dreams. That was on August 8th. Then I had this was the second. The first one I had was in this, no, not that. Oh no, that one, wait, what is this? Standing in the picture. Okay, so the one I just got in December, the second one, and I told you guys about this, about me standing at the picture window and seeing no one but me. It was just no neighbors, no nothing, no roads, no nothing, all land, mountains. I could see far in the distance, and I'm looking out this picture window, and I'm seeing it's a clear sky. Then all of a sudden, I see one cloud come in, and then they started rushing in like it was time lapse, and they were coming really fast. And I was watching the sky turning and all this stuff, and all of a sudden, it just stopped. Suddenly, it just stopped, and then there were clouds. And then little by little, the clouds faded, and I was looking at a clear sky. And then that clear sky, while I watched through the picture window, that clear sky went to black as if it was night. But it was funny because it went to night, and I looked in the distance, and in the distance, I could see light. But it wasn't light from the sun. It was light like a fire glowing back there. And as I watched, it was like the fire was getting closer. The glow of the fire was getting closer. And I was like, where is this coming from? But then I looked up, I started to see all these, because of the distance. I couldn't see what was happening. But as it got closer, it's when I started to see things falling from the sky. It was like balls of fire. I mean, fire just floating down. And every time it hit the ground, it exploded. And I was like, where is this coming from? And that's when I saw the banners or the scrolls. And they came because it was like an unrolled scroll. And it came and it was floating, and the thing was humongous. I'm talking like car size, those kind of scrolls. It was like humongous, but they were so big, and they were getting closer, and I saw them getting closer, and I could see it clearly. It was just floating from the ground. And at the bottom of it was, when I looked at it, I was like, there's 7, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wait, get 6, and then there's one in the middle, 7. There's 7 of them. Each one is on fire with the scroll, and the scrolls are just floating down. There's nothing holding it. It's just all over the place. These giant scrolls are falling. And all the tassels are detaching from the scroll and then falling to the ground and causing explosion. And I'm watching these fall to the ground. And then I noticed that the center of the scroll has this big yellow glowing haze out like a sun. And the whole banner is like crimson, dark crimson red. But this light, or this gold in the middle, was glowing so brightly that I could see what was in the middle of that, because it was the backdrop. And then when I looked at it, it wasn't anything I understood. I said, this is not human. This is not man-made, because the writing was like, I never seen that kind of language. It just looked like all squiggly lines. From a distance, it looked like it was like a solid thing. But and it formed kind of a cross shape, but not quite. But as it got closer, and I got to see it closer, because there was a humongous, I noticed that it was writing. Writing I did not know. It was so foreign to me. There were squiggly lines and images, but all of it was saying something. It's like ancient old script was written in the center of that thing. And so, and as it floated down, and the fire came, and it hit the ground, right? The banners that hit the ground. I woke up, and I was the end of the dream. When you look at these two dreams, it's about reality being broken. The first one in August is like that. We think a certain way, we see certain things, and we understand. In 2025, God's going to shake up all your realities. Do not cling to what you think you know. It's not going to survive because your reality is about to be shaken. And in a way, just like in our walk with God, yeah, in our walk with God, we hold ourselves to what we think and how it's supposed to be. He's about to shake you up too, right? Because this is about waking up. Wake up to the reality. Your walk with God isn't as good as you think it is. Okay? It isn't as righteous as you proclaim, right? In a way, kind of like that. But what is he saying about the future for? That's part of it. Prophecy isn't about what's going to happen in the future so you can say, oh, I know what's going to happen because God showed me. No, no, no. It's about letting you know what God has planned. So prepare. So prepare. And that's what this is about. Wake up to the reality. Prepare yourself because God's about to shake your world up because you don't even understand or see. Because why? It's about disclosure. God is exposing. Because how can you wake up to the truth unless you are exposed first? You're ignorant. So this is kind of like that. It's a wake up to reality. Everybody's going to wake up to a reality, whether they walk with God or not. Whatever's going to happen in the world, God's going to use the world and the issues of the world to wake you up to your own consciousness. You're going to see your own deceptions through what happens around you. How is that so? Okay. There is a part of one of the prophecies further down that talks about money. In this one, he was showing me how people will cling because it'll become harder to hold on to. Whatever's going to happen in 2025, it's going to drain your bank account. I think it's going to hurt more than help. Whatever it is. And because of that, you're going to cling to what you have because you're going to try to hold on to it. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to. So yes, your money will dwindle and all this kind. You prepare yourself for what's coming. But it is not only that. It is not only that. That is one part, the money. Yeah, the root of many evils is money. Is the root of many evils, right? It's not evil in itself, but it can put something in you to want to cling. There's that covet thing going on, right? But also in your own understandings of self. The wake up is going to tell you you've been delusional this whole time, because reality is going to kick in. When you say, no way this can happen, and then it happens, what do you say? You have to acknowledge that you were wrong. And a lot of the realities, a lot of the wake up is about, like the tax collector. You have to see that you're wrong. That you have to realize that your walk is not so perfect as you think it is, because you think you make it so. It's not like that. Then you'd be like the Pharisee. The wake up is about waking up to the truth. Yeah, so your reality is only real in your own mind. When God shows you the true reality, many people are going to be devastated because of it. I got a word for that last one, and my word was in Zechariah chapter 5, and somebody praised Jesus because it was about the vision of the flying scrolls. He couldn't have been so much more perfect, because it's Ezekiel chapter 5, 1 through 4, about the flying scrolls, the one that I just had about the flying scrolls in the Baptist. Okay. Then I turned and raised my eyes, and I saw there a flying scroll. And he said to me, what do you see? So I answered, I see a flying scroll. Its length is 20 cubits, and its width is 10. That's humongous. That's humongous. And I was talking about how humongous these scrolls were. They were huge. 20 cubits and 10 cubits for all to see, in other words. Everybody's going to see. Then he said to me, this is the curse that goes out over the face of the whole earth. In other words, what is written on the scroll is death. This is judgment. It is judgment. This is the curse, and the curse is death. Death is coming. Curse that goes out over the face of the whole earth. Every thief shall be expelled. Here comes all that exposure. Remember about taking. God has a judgment against everyone. Everybody is going to fall into something, but God has an issue with those who have stolen, robbed, right? Committed adultery, who have broken all that God is to proclaim themselves. He said, this is the curse that goes out on the face of the earth. Every thief shall be expelled. Are you considered a thief? Taking, God not getting his due, God not getting his praises, God not getting his glory through your life, yet you proclaim and use his name in vain, and you refuse to trust him, so you're afraid. You refuse to hold on to him, so you cower. You see what I'm doing? So you lie about what you have with God, and you let everything else. That's a Pharisee way. When you hold yourself to your own opinion because you're too afraid to face the truth of God. Wake up. Get that? The wake up call? That's right. And Ezekiel is saying that the truth is coming. It's going to wake everybody up to their truth, their own truth. And they're going to find out that you guys have been walking in a curse, that you haven't been walking so righteous before God. That is going to be corrected. Every thief shall be expelled according to this side of the scroll, and every perjurer shall be expelled according to that side of the scroll. So in other words, everybody getting corrected. Are you a perjurer? Right? When he talks about perjury, okay, when you look at perjury, oh no, am I thinking of when you use somebody else's words? What is that? Plagiarism. Yeah, I'm thinking of plagiarism, but that's what I mean. But perjury is about coming against the truth. Lies. So God is looking, exposing liars in the house of God, right? Every perjurer and every thief, the one who only takes from God, right? Only keeps taking, not only from God, but because of your sins, you're taking away from God's people. Funny, yeah, how my sermon today falls right in line with this, the tax collector and the thing. He's so smart. Moving on. And so the vision of the scroll is that God said judgment is coming. Not judgment in the fact like you're all going to go to hell, we're going to go to hell. No. Judgment of exposure. Everybody's going to. If you don't know the truth, you're going to find out next year. Because hard times going to bring it out of you. That's the only way. To darkness, you will see the light. And that's kind of what's part of it. So that is the wake up reality, the foundation of what's going to happen. The foundation. I'm not done yet. The flying scrolls got much to say. He says, I will send out the curse, says the Lord of hosts. It shall enter the house of the thief and the house of the one who swears falsely by my name. It shall remain in the midst of his house and consume it with its timber and stones. You think you can hide? Do you think God's temple, people are exempt because you go to church? See, these judgments are coming to the house of God first. And then it's going to go into the hearts of men. Because when you see the truth, it's exposed you as a person, your relationship with God. And the curse doesn't only fall upon the house, it falls on every single person who says, Lord, Lord. So we have to know where we stand. That's why he will enter the house of God, but he will enter the one who swears falsely by my name, and it will remain in the midst of your house until you see the truth. You get that? And if you don't see it and it continues, little by little, that curse is going to eat away at what you have. And brings in the parable. That's why what little you have will be taken also. Because you don't see the truth. And all these things dwindling from your life. Your money, your goods, your whatever, dwindling. And then your understanding, your insight, and your revelation, all dwindling as if you do not know, showing your ignorance. That's what's happening. God's consuming what is his because you have stolen it as a thief, and you lie about it by professing that Jesus is your Lord and Savior. All exposure. Yeah? Wake up. Okay. That's one. Now let's get into some other things. Okay, now you guys know the foundation of everything. Exposure is the key. Awakening, right? I do believe that we're gonna discover new life forms. Probably 24, 25, if not this year. This year is, I think, is the 25 is it's already started. We just don't want to acknowledge it, because if we acknowledge that there is another life other than humans, I think panic would ensue. So everything is about spoon feeding, little by little kind of thing, right? But I believe we're going to have an encounter. If not this year, next year, or maybe 2026. Yeah, 2025, 2020. Somewhere in those 2 years, something will happen. I also believe that God is exposing us. Preparing is for what is to come. He's preparing us for what is to come. That is true. So, what if there is? Okay, let's look at this. Let's put two and two together. What if there is another life form other than human beings? How would you accept? How would you behave? How would you behave? Would you be fearful? Will you be frightened of interaction? Would you know what I'm saying? What's going to happen? This is kind of what happens. Yeah, when you start seeing the truth, it's going to shake you up, and more fear can come out. You wouldn't believe how fearful you are, right? You might think, "Oh, I'm almighty in God," and then this happens, and then fear strikes you, and you can't move, right? Because fear is under all of that. Truth, you understand that? Truth, and that has to be true. So God is exposing all of us. Number one, let's talk about Christian world events. We already know God is tearing down the houses of of false prophets, of false ministries. That has already started, and that will continue. That will continue. That is the truth. I had a vision in 2015. No wonder he was telling me go look at the past. The vision in 2015, where he says, I am against the prophets who turn my people towards worldly happiness. Worldly happiness. So God is coming against the rise of the prophets because they're saying, oh no, it is good. This reminded me of what happened in Jeremiah when God was talking about the false, woe to you false prophets. You tell them joy, there's goodness in it when there's destruction, right? In Jeremiah, we give people, they've been giving people false hope so that they ignore the truth. So God is coming against anybody or the vessels who say, oh, they are prophets of God who speak against the truth, because all they're doing is lifting the hearts of men into their own prides, desires, and lusts. They're not guiding them back to God. They're taking them away. Focus. I had a conversation the other day with the Lord about psychics, mediums, and stuff like that. Now, as you folks know, I found the Lord when I was 40, but I was born with vision and dreams, right? And yeah. But when I look at my past, no one could help me. Not in my family, nobody understood these and couldn't understand what was coming out of me. And then I met a woman who was a psychic, who said she was a psychic, and she started, and everything was familiar. It's like everything she was telling me about was exactly what I was going through. So who would not follow such a way when you know what Jesus, right? I did. So I understand the psychic realm. I understand until I found God, or God saved me. Then my eyes were open to see a truth. And what was that truth? That people who claim to be, and I'm not saying this, I'm saying that when God speaks, it's always to lead his people to him, to bring them back into the fold. But a lot of them speak of, oh, but if you do this, you can get that, or you can get money, or love, or this is guiding you away from him, right? Anybody who guides you away from the truth is not going to be of God. Because all ministers, all vessels, all roads in our heart, in our mind, in our thoughts lead to God. We turn the people back to God. When you start listening to people who don't even, they start talking about name it and claim it, and they start talking about the prosperity and abundance, that's leading you away from God. You cannot tell God, give you that kind of stuff when you don't know what he desires of you. You get that? So this is being exposed, where people have been holding on to these kinds of ministries and they don't even realize that they're doing it for their own gain. It has nothing to do with God. All of that getting exposed. Harsh times ahead for everybody. And yet those people who have put them in there will ask for more. Oh, we need more money. Oh, we're going to build this. Do not heed, people. Do not heed. So this is what's going to happen. Money woes will begin. The house of God is going to start starving. Why? Because in those bigger churches, they have taken so much from the people that God's going to start kind of drying it up. Why? Because he's going to wake the people up. His concern is for the people, who are being misled. So he is going to open up their hearts, their minds, their sight. If they are sensitive to that, to the exposure, right? And walk away. So that God can restore them, renew them. But they have to make the choice to walk away, because all they're doing is feeding the lie. And as long as they keep feeding the lie lives. But if you know the truth and you know there's lie and deception in the house, you better pack your stuff up and walk away. Let the prophecy come to pass. God is tearing them down because he's exposing them. That's the key. If God is exposing your ministers and your pastors, it's because he's saying there's falsehood in the midst. If there is falsehood in the midst, that's a false prophet who delivering messages not to bring you to God, but to bring you to him or her so that they can gain. It had nothing to do. They use God's name in vain. Walk away. Walk away. If you want truth, walk away. If you're happy where you're at, they're right where you at. You can find out in the end. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you, recognize. It's about waking up and seeing the truth, right? And seeing the truth. So that's the false prophet. The rise of the false prophets could come. God's going to expose them all. Yay, Jesus, right? Then what else is there? Unholy union. I spoke this in a vision I had in June of 2003, 2003. That's how far back he went. My visions and dreams go back to childhood. But I only started keeping check when I found God because he told me to. I would have never thought of that. An unholy union, world events. That one was Christian. This one is regular world. There's going to be a lot of conflict, and we can see that already starting up. But there was one particular one that he spoke about. He reminded me about this morning, and I had to go look at the prophecies in 2003, and I found it. It's the agreement between China and Taiwan that they've been distanced from each other because they don't get along, but little by little they're becoming closer. There's going to come a time they're going to join. They're getting ready to join. And if they join, I saw the vision as China being male, Taiwan being female, right? And they're coming closer, but they're hesitant as a couple. If they were a couple, right? Man and woman. The man looked like Mao Tse-tung, and the woman looked like those movie type of uh, 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 what they call the woman with the long cigarette and the Japanese and you know what the Oriental dressing. No, not geishas. No, this is like Madame Hari or something like that. They kind of Matahari kind of that kind of like that. That's what it kind of like that. Anyway, but they were coming together little by little over the years, 2003, and then in 2003 I had it. They were distant, and I was watching them get closer. Who knew? God is saying now He brings it up because He said because they are that close, close enough to shake hands. That's going to be a problem for the world. How? Because one's going to control the other one. One is going to control the other one, take control, and it's going to start a battle. Because the weaker one, which is Taiwan, has backers already, like the U.S. and other people backing them up. But the burden from China is forcing them down a certain way that they might have to make peace or they might have to make a union together. But China's whole intention is to override Taiwan, to take Taiwan. I think Taiwan broke away from China, didn't they? Right. Okay. And I think China wants it back. So they're going to lie and deceive to get it back. And eventually, in the end, they're going to take control. So it's starting. They're at that place where they're close enough to. In the vision, I saw them getting closer and closer. Nobody interfered. Everybody just clung to the walls, and only these. And I'm watching them get closer and closer, and then they stop and they stare at each other, and then they both reach out their hand and they shake. And when they shook hands, everybody from the wall came in. Everybody's going to be a part of it. I believe there's going to be this kind of world. It's going to affect everybody. It's going to affect everybody in the world because of Taiwan and China. We get most of our stuff from China and Taiwan. Did you guys know that? Made in China, made in Taiwan. If they stand in agreement, when we have an agreement with Taiwan, Taiwan's going to have to break agreement with us. China is already breaking their agreement. They're pulling Taiwan in because Taiwan is our connection to still get our goods. China wants to take that away. That's how I'm seeing it. It's kind of unfolding in my head. Not bad, God. But anyways, like that. So we're going to see world events. There's going to be unholy unions. Unholy unions going to start. I mean, you guys going to see powers, coming in a way that it should not be. But it's because there's a more, I don't want to call it sinister outcome they're striving for. But there is deception that they're striving for. There's something they want to achieve for that gain of power and authority, right? That kind of gain, but they're not going to get it. No matter how hard they try to become the power of the world, no one will be there. No one. Because when somebody thinks they are, here's going to come God. Nobody is more powerful. You get that? And so it's kind of like that. So watch for that, the unholy bonds, the unholy unions coming together. Be aware. If there is an unholy union that comes together and they make agreement, all hell's about to break loose. Okay? Wake up. Okay? The weather is going to be the same, just more harsh and amplified. Because all I saw is harsh winds, hurricanes, dryness. I saw just a dry desert. I don't even know where I was. And I thought to myself, it's dry. So that means it probably was watered before. And now I'm standing there and I see nothing but dry, cracked ground. Hmm? And those places that God had spoken in the prophecy, maybe 2010, I should have pulled it out, about how the dry places will become wet and the wet places will become dry. That's coming to pass again, meaning that now it's amplified. That has already started, and now the amplification is going to get worse. It seems like 2025 is going to usher in something worse. But that doesn't mean that everybody's going to suffer, because God's people who know and understand how God works and what God is doing is going to carry you through. You're going to have to learn to hold on. Yeah, you're going to have to learn to hold on. I had a vision a while back, and I laughed. I talked to Mike and said, holy heck, I had a vision a while back. It's like I was telling him about it because I didn't want to tell you guys about it and give you guys ideas, okay? But in this dream, all you guys was living with me. I was like, holy shit, they're going to all lose their houses or something? Everybody going to move in with me? I was like, no. I was like, no, you guys were actually living with me. I saw Cheryl, I saw Lisa and Jay, I saw Kim. I never see you because you guys better off than me. I don't know. But I saw people that I recognized, and I was like, you guys were living with me. You guys were living with me. How did I handle that? I don't know. My mind was like, holy hell no! But the vision was there, right? God is saying, but he's not showing me that kind of stuff to say this is going to happen. He's showing me that this could happen. This could happen because of what's the unfolding, right? And it's not saying that you guys will live with me, but it sounds like people are going to have to live together to survive. Just because, just because things are just going to be harder to get, harder to buy, it's going to be harder to live. You will not be able to live alone. That's what it feels like. It feels like you can't continue by yourself. So maybe coming together, coming together, people can live more harmoniously together, and then, have a place and survive. And I think that's what God is doing. He's going to make us come together, let them gather together. Yeah, not forsake the fellowship, but to gather together to know where there's acceptance and then grow together and survive together and take care of one another, right? That's kind of like what the gospel does, but that's something we have to look at. So be aware of that when troubled times, and they are coming, just the signs of the times. Troubled times are ahead of us. Watch the sky, because I just saw something hit the ground. So watch the sky. Oh yeah, I forgot about that part of the dream, that something hit the ground so hard it shook the floor, and all it was pure light, and I woke up. In that last dream about the picture window. So forgiveness comes, Deliverance is going to come. But we have to go through the process of exposure. Because let me tell you, I appreciate God doing this, because a lot of people don't know the hypocrisy in their own hearts, the delusions in their own thought. They do not even know that it even exists in them. So God's going to show it to them. So that means people who do understand, who do know, and who sees and have humbled themselves like the tax collector will see and know the truth, and will be able to share it with them, right? So we have to prepare ourselves, not only in our goods, right? Just get yourself ready. And I'm not talking about now save up and put on the side. I'm talking about, get your money all out of the bank and start stuffing them in your couches. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you prepare yourself, you prepare this connection between you and God, because God needs vessels. God needs vessels, and he's calling on his people. That means even though we may suffer like the rest of the world, we're going to be strong together. So gather with those who are strong, and you will become stronger. This 2025, wake up. Wake up and get strong, because you have lied to yourself all these years. For many people, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. I don't know how long you've been in the gospel, but you've been living a lie, because you need to wake up to the truth. That means 2025 is going to bring a lot of insight, a lot of revelation, and I'm praying to God, a lot of miracles, so people can see the truth, right? But we'll see what he does. 2025, what else is there? Watch out for the pigs again. The pigs came up, this morning. Watch the pigs. Something's wrong with the pigs. I would get away from pork. I don't know why I'm saying that. They look spoiled. In what I saw this morning, the pork meat looks spoiled. It looked pink. Okay, when something gets spoiled, slimy, it turns that kind of odd, iggy pink. That's what it looks like. It looks like rotten pink meat. Yeah. So maybe the pork Maybe the pork's going to be like defective, not defective, but sickly. It's going to be sickly. The pig's going to get sickly, and the people can consume. It's kind of like that. That's one thing I saw. And you know what I saw? I saw this bird fly by, but it wasn't a bird. It was a dinosaur bird. Those big ones with the long, what? A pterodactyl. Yeah, but a little smaller, but a pterodactyl in itself. It flew right by me. I was like, what is this? Ancient things are about to be seen. That's how I saw it. That bird flying by was like, well, it's not a bird, it's a pterodactyl. I don't know if that's not a bird family. I have no idea. But it's a dinosaur family, Pastor Shirley. Okay. I'm waiting for somebody to say something like that. But I saw I was standing, it was like so quick this morning. I was just standing, all of a sudden, like, whoosh, and I like, oh, a dinosaur. And then it was fast and it was gone. What does he say? Immediately I felt like the ancient truths are coming. Those things of the past, those truths. Remember how I was standing at the picture window and it was a clear sky, then the cloud came in and then it started to roll? This is about ancient truths that's coming to pass now. Things spoken in time past, things shown in time past, things lived in time past are being revealed in 2025. We're going to see how far we are from the truth, right? The root of it all. But exposure is number one because it's a wake-up call. It's the wake up to reality. Prepare people for the changes by changing. Find strength, not weakness. Yeah, stop beating yourself up for what you cannot do and find strength in the things you know you can. Walk with God if you say you walk with Him and learn what that means instead of saying it and then making up your own thing about it. Know the truth. What does it mean to walk with God? Well, if you listen to today's sermon, it puts you in one or the other. Yeah? So decide for yourself where you stand. What else? Well, we got the weather, we got the pigs, we got the exposure, we got the aliens, we got, what else do we have? What else is there? Was there anything else? I talked about the weather. I saw that. The pterodactyl was the last thing I saw this morning. So I'm going to stop it there. But I do know there's more. And if there's more, I'll post it. All right? May God bless you guys. 2025 sounds like a hell of fun, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Amen.